Chapter 9. Skeletal and Nervous Systems. Organ System. Human skeleton. Functions of the skeleton. Joints, muscles and movement. Nervous system. Sense organs. Organ system. No machine made by humans is as effective as our body. Our body performs so many functions at the same time. Our body is made up of many parts, each of which performs special functions. Among our body's major organs are the brain, kidneys, lungs and heart. These organs have to work like a team in order to keep the body fit. Our bones and muscles work together in an amazing way. Together, they turn our body into a powerful machine. A group of organs together make up an organ system. For instance, the muscular system keeps our muscles strong and provides us with strength, while the digestive system helps in the digestion of food. The functioning of our internal organs, our movements, and even our thoughts are all under the control of the nervous system. The reproductive, respiratory and circulatory systems each carry out unique functions. Skeletal system. Respiratory system. Muscular system. Circulatory system. Digestive system. Nervous system. Different types of organ systems in humans. Human skeleton. Skull. Shoulder girdle. Rib cage. Backbone. Hip girdle. Femur. The skull, backbone, rib cage and two sets of limbs, the forelimbs arms and the hind limbs legs make up the human skeleton. These limbs are attached to two pairs of girdles, shoulder girdle and hip girdle respectively. Bones make up the framework of the human skeleton. An adult human has bones of different sizes and shapes in his body. All of the internal organs are enclosed and protected by this framework of bones, which also provides the body with support, strength and shape. Skull. The skull is made up of different bones. Some of these bones protect our brain, whereas others make up the structure of our face. The skull is made up of 22 bones. 8 flat bones, interlocked together, enclose the delicate brain inside it. The lower jaw is the only one of the 14 bones in the facial region that can move, allowing us to eat and speak. Backbone or spine. Our backbone spine supports our body upright and allows us to bend and twist. The skull is attached to the backbone, which forms the main axis of the skeleton. It is composed of 33 small bones, known as vertebrae, which form a strong column called the vertebral column. The delicate spinal cord is protected by the vertebral column. Rib cage. The rib cage is found in the chest area. The heart and lungs are enclosed in a cage made of 12 pairs of bow-shaped ribs. The ribs are delicate, curved bones which are attached to the backbone and the breastbone. However, the lowest two pairs, called floating ribs, are attached only to the backbone. The movement of the ribs also helps in respiration. Limbs. With the help of the shoulder girdles, consisting of 2 pairs of shoulder blades and 2 pairs of collar bones, the forelimbs arms are connected to the spine. The powerful femur, also known as the thigh bone, supports the weight of the entire body. It is the longest bone in our body. The lower leg has 2 bones, tibia and fibula. Together they are known as tibiofibula. The knee joint connects the lower leg to the femur, which has a ball and socket joint that fits into the hip girdle. The long bones of the skeleton are hollow and filled with bone marrow, a soft, fatty substance. The bones of the hand. The bones of the leg. Tibia. Fibula. Functions of the skeleton. The skeleton performs the following functions. The skeletal system gives shape, strength, and support to our body. Bones are made of calcium, phosphorus, and a substance called collagen. It also protects our soft internal organs. The skull covers the delicate brain. The eyeballs are protected by the bony eye sockets. The backbone protects the delicate spinal cord and the rib cage protects the lungs and the heart. The hip bone protects organs like the kidneys and the urinary bladder. Muscles are attached to bones and make movement possible. Red blood cells and white blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. Joints. The intersection of two bones is known as a joint. It is held together by strong tissues called ligaments. There are several joints in our body. All the joints except those in the skull are movable. They make the skeleton flexible. The joints in the skull are immovable due to the interlocking of the bones. The movable joints. Due to a fluid that functions as a lubricant, the bones at the joints move without difficulty. Our body has 4 different types of movable joints. Hinge joint. A hinge joint resembles a door's hinges. The bones can only be moved in one direction by it. The elbows, knees, fingers and toes have hinge joints. Ball and socket joint. Maximum movement is possible with the ball and socket joint. One bone that ends in a ball fits into the socket of the other. These joints include the hip and shoulder joints. Shoulder joint. Hip joint. Pivot joint. The first 2 vertebrae of the spine and the skull form a pivot joint. The uppermost vertebra in the neck is called atlas. With the help of the pivot joint, we can move our head sideways, upward and downward. Gliding joint. The gliding joint allows movement at the wrist and ankle, and also between any 2 vertebrae of the spine. It enables each joint in our back to bend, twist and turn. In addition to bones, cartilage and muscles also help us in movement. Cartilage holds the bones together at the joints. It also protects the bones. Without cartilage, the bones would rub against each other and wear out. Some organs, such as the nose and ears, have cartilage too. Muscles and movement. Muscles are the soft tissues in the body. The bones of the body cannot move on their own. They move with the help of muscles. The muscles in the body tighten and relax to produce movement. There are about 650 muscles in the body, and each one causes a particular movement. They are present in the organs and around the bones. Our muscles allow us to chew food, move our arms and knees, push food into the digestive tract, breathe air into our lungs, and make our heart beat. Muscles are attached to the bones by strong fibers called tendons. Muscles produce movement in the body by pulling on the bones. When a muscle contracts, the bones come close to each other. When the muscles stretch, the reverse happens. Types of muscles. Voluntary muscles. Some muscles like the muscles attached to our skeleton are under our control, so we call them voluntary muscles. The muscles that are in the arms, legs, etc. are examples of voluntary muscles. Involuntary muscles. Muscles not under our control are called involuntary muscles. They control actions like the movement of food in the alimentary canal and the movement of the eye muscles. Cardiac muscles, the type of muscles found only in the heart, which are involuntary in function, but they are structured like voluntary muscles. These muscles are called cardiac muscles. Nervous system. Our nervous system controls all the other systems of our body. The brain, the spinal cord and the nerves form the nervous system. Brain, spinal cord, nerves, brain. In animals, including humans, The brain is the control center for the body. As a part of the nervous system, the brain receives and makes sense of signals sent from nerve cells in the body. The brain also sends information to the body's muscles and organs. An adult human brain contains millions of tiny cells. It is protected by a hard, bony skull. A clear fluid fills the area inside the brain as well as the space between the skull and the brain, acting as a cushion against jerks and injuries. The human brain is a very powerful organ. It controls the working of all parts of the body. It also controls a person's thoughts and feelings. It allows a person to sense the outside world. The human brain cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla. The human brain. Cerebrum. Cerebellum. Medulla. Our brain is made up of 3 different parts. Each part has its own work to do. Cerebrum. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. Its dome-shaped surface is covered with deep ridges and grooves. It directs how our eyes, ears, nose and tongue function. It also controls our voice. It is the center of intelligence. We can think, learn, remember and recall because of the cerebrum. The cerebrum is the thinking part of the brain. Cerebellum. The cerebellum is located below the cerebrum. It coordinates the actions of the muscles and makes them work together. It keeps us in an upright position while helping in body balancing. The cerebellum controls balance, posture, and muscles. Our body movements become jerky if the cerebellum is not functioning properly. Medulla. The bulb-shaped medulla is located beneath the cerebellum. It joins the spinal cord and brain. It controls involuntary actions like the movements of the lungs and the heart. It also helps in speech. Even while we are sleeping, the medulla is active. Blood and oxygen must be continuously delivered to the brain. If the heart is unable to pump enough blood to the brain, a person will faint. The spinal cord. The spinal cord is a long, tube-like band of tissue. It extends from the base of the brain to almost the lower end of the backbone. It is enclosed inside a tough, bony but flexible spine. In most adults, the spinal cord is about 18 inches long. It connects the rest of the body to the brain through the nerves. It mainly carries nerve signals from our brain to our body and vice versa. These nerve signals help us feel sensations and move your body. Any damage to our spinal cord can affect our movement or function. Nerves. Nerves are long thread-like structures that carry messages to and from the brain, spinal cord and other parts of the body. Nerves are made of bundles of fibers. There are mainly 3 types of nerves. Sensory nerves. The nerves which bring messages from the sense organs to the brain or the spinal cord are called sensory nerves. Motor nerves. The nerves which carry orders from the brain or the spinal cord to the muscles or glands are called motor nerves. Mixed nerves. The nerves which carry messages to the brain as well as bring orders from the brain are called mixed nerves. They carry messages both ways. Reflex actions. The nervous system controls all our actions. Some of our actions are automatic. We do not have to think before doing them. If we accidentally touch a hot object, we immediately withdraw our hand. Thus, touching the object acted as stimulus and withdrawing our hand was the response. The automatic response of the body to a particular stimulus is called a reflex action. Such actions are controlled by the spinal cord. When this happens, the sensory nerves immediately pass a message to the spinal cord. The spinal cord sends orders through the motor nerves for the muscles to tighten up. We pull our hand away from the hot object even before we feel the pain. Does the sight of food make your mouth water? Here, the sight of food is the stimulus and the production of the saliva in our mouth is the response. Blinking of the eyes is another example of reflex action. Sense organs. The organs which connect us to the outside world are known as sense organs. Our body has 5 sense organs: eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. Eyes. Eyes help us to see the world around us. Each eyeball is safely set in a deep bony socket and is further protected by the flap-like eyelids. The eyelashes help to keep dirt out of our eyes. The different parts of the eye are shown in the following picture. Cornea is the thin, transparent layer that covers the front of the eye. Iris is the round, colored part of the eye present behind cornea. Pupil is the opening present at the center of the iris. Light enters the eye through pupil. Lens is located just behind the pupil. It helps to focus light. Message sent from the retina is carried to the brain from the optic nerve. Retina is the lining present behind the eye where light falls and image is formed. Ears. Ears help us to hear. A pair of ears are present, one on each side of the head. Each ear is divided into 3 parts: outer ear, middle ear and inner ear. The different parts of the ear are shown in the following picture. Pinna is the outer visible part. It receives sound and passes it through ear canal to the eardrum. Ear canal passes sound waves from the pinna to the eardrum. Middle ear is made of 3 bones, malleus, incus, and stapes. They pass sound waves from the eardrum to the cochlea, or inner ear. Cochlea transforms sound into a nerve signal which is sent to the brain via nerves. Eardrum is the thin membrane-like structure that vibrates on receiving sound. These vibrations are passed to middle ear. Nose. We breathe and smell through our nose. Nose contains 2 nostrils that are lined with hair and mucus to trap dirt from the air. The nostrils lead to a nasal cavity that is lined with cells sensitive to smell. Tongue. The tongue helps us to sense different tastes and enables us to speak. It has numerous taste buds located all over its surface that detect different tastes and pass on nerve signals to the brain via nerves. The nerve endings in the taste buds detect the 4 major tastes: sweet, salty, sour and bitter. Skin. The skin forms the outermost covering of our body. It helps us to feel, touch, and sense heat, cold, pain and pressure. Many nerves that detect touch and transmit nerve impulses to the brain are located beneath the skin's surface. Synopsis. Our body is made up of many parts, each of which performs special functions. Bones make up the framework of the human skeleton. The skull is made up of 22 bones. Our backbone, spine, supports our body upright and allows us to bend and twist. The heart and lungs are enclosed in a cage made of 12 pairs of bow-shaped ribs. The intersection of 2 bones is known as a joint. It is held together by strong tissues called ligaments. Our nervous system controls all the other systems of our body. It consists of the brain, the spinal cord and the nerves. Our brain is made up of 3 different parts: cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. The spinal cord controls our reflex actions. Reflex actions are automatic actions. The organs which connect us to the outside world through our senses are known as the sense organs.